Many Naruto fans will recall how Jiraiya once referred to Sakura as being a Tsunade Jr. when he saw her split the ground in half with one of his punches, and how Hashirama Senju even complimented the insane power of Sakura when he saw her unleash her full strength in combat. There's no mistaking the fact that Sakura's training with Tsunade was critical for her development both as a ninja as well as a person. But in Boruto Naruto Next Generations, we actually learn that the bond between these two runs a lot deeper than a lot of us thought, and the reason why is actually pretty hilarious in my opinion. Currently in the Boruto era, in the events of the Sasuke Retsude novel, while Sasuke and Sakura are on their mission to find a cure for Naruto's chakra illness, Sakura comes up really clutch by putting she and Sasuke in a position to gather the critical intel needed to cure Naruto's disease, and it's due to Sakura's training with Tsunade that they're able to do so, but it isn't related to any type of skill that she learned with medical ninjutsu. It's actually due to Tsunade's nickname of being the legendary sucker, and Sakura being her student shows off her skills. When it comes to the legacy of that name, the only way to gather the intel to find Naruto's cure was to win a very complex card game with a prisoner who loves to gamble. When Sakura tells Sasuke that she's got this in the bag because she's Tsunade's student and that Tsunade's known for gambling, Sasuke gets worried because he knows about Tsunade's nickname and begins to fear the worst for his wife, in that she's going to lose the game. The prisoner she's playing the card game with goes into the game just in the same way that a lot of the men that Tsunade met in gambling halls did, thinking that he's got himself an easy target. But after their first game, Sakura's sudden shift in focus catches him off guard. When Sakura reveals that she's already memorized the complex rules for the card game, the prisoner pretty much gets weak in the knees, realizing that this isn't going to be as easy of a score as he originally thought. After playing several rounds and gathering an audience, most of the matches end up in a draw. Sakura wins the card game and gets the key for the forbidden part of the institute that allows she and Sasuke to look for the intel that's needed to cure Naruto. It's in this moment that Sakura reveals that she's basically doing the ninja equivalent of counting cards, and she does so in the most ninja way possible. She memorizes all the small details of each individual card, also she can cheat, and she reveals that it was during her training with Tsunade that she learned to do so. And upon hearing Sakura's story, Sasuke immediately realizes why exactly she's afraid of Tsunade. So what I'll do for you guys now is read the passage from the Sasuke Retsude novel, and then I'm going to come back to you guys with my thoughts, and it's here I'm going to begin quoting. After a while of walking silently through the darkness, they reached the door at the back of the library. Sakura plunged Panjira's key into the lock. The spring inside turned and opened the door with a snap. Yesterday, when you and Panjira were gambling, Sasuke began awkwardly as he opened the door. How did you do it? Oh, well, Sakura, who was gazing at the ring on her finger, quickly pulled her hand back down to her side. I wasn't cheating. I was actually doing my best. I was doing it by memorization. Beyond the door was a stairway that led to the basement, aligned with descending tiles. Sakura continued to speak. Those cards, well, they were all very old. If it was a broken edge, or a noticeable scratch, or a picture that was slightly different, I memorized everything on the cards when I was checking out their patterns. You mean you memorized all 60 of them? Yeah, but in the first round, I was totally cheating. I picked up on that skill when I was training under Tsunade. Sakura spoke, feeling nostalgic. Lady Tsunade is really bad at gambling, but she also hates to lose. So at first, I was careful to let her win, but then she keep playing on and on. But it's much less boring if I keep ending the match with draws, watching her face drain her color until she forces us to stop. She wasn't bored. She was scared of Tsunade after Tsunade won. They had already reached the bottom of the stairs before Sakura could keep wondering if she actually told Sasuke that story out loud. In quote. So I don't know about you, but I can totally picture Tsunade being like this. Tsunade isn't just a gambler, she's also a drunk who likes to gamble. That's a hell of a combination. If you take all the anime filler into consideration, as well as Tsunade's notoriously hot temper, it's not hard to imagine a drunk Tsunade being an absolute terror to be around during one of her gambling stints. If she wins, she's just gonna keep going like Sakura said, making the bets more and more outrageous, and the tension in the room is just going to continue to rise because of her drunken antics. If she loses, her temper is likely to come out, so Sakura has no choice but to play again if things don't take a turn for the worse, which is likely why Sakura said that she had to be careful to make sure that she lost on purpose, likely getting some type of advice from Shizune. Eventually, Sakura learned to count cards and find various ways to cheat, and keep ending the game in a draw until a drunken Tsunade was too drunk and eventually grew too tired to continue their gambling events. Sakura at no point ever thought that it was a good idea to win when she was playing against Tsunade, and Sasuke, as well as Sakura's own internal monologue, immediately picks up on it. Tsunade being a drunk and losing the card game isn't exactly the best combination, especially when you add in her temper. Instead of walking around with a black eye or a huge lump on her head, one that ironically could be healed by Tsunade, the very same person who gave it to her, Sakura was very quick to learn never beat Tsunade in any type of a card game, especially when Tsunade's been drinking. Those numerous days she spent gambling with Tsunade actually ended up paying off, because it was her cheating that allowed them to gain the access to the forbidden portion of the prison. And to further paint a picture for you guys, I want you guys to think about Naruto's conversation with Kakashi, which I cover in the Why Kakashi Almost Didn't Become 6 Hokage video. So in that video, one of the things that Naruto reveals to us is the fact that Tsunade had been getting into fights at gambling halls. Now, why do you think Tsunade was getting into fights at gambling halls? Not necessarily because she won the matches, but instead because someone lost. Tsunade, notorious for losing, likely ended up picking fights with somebody that she thought was cheating. So you can see why all of a sudden Sakura is going to be less likely to allow herself to beat Tsunade in any type of a gambling event. But I want to know from you guys, out of all three of the legendary Sannin, given each of their individual quirks, Jiraiya being a massive perv, Tsunade being a drunken gambler, and Orochimaru just being eternally creepy, which member of Team 7 likely had the roughest as well as the oddest time during their training? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day guys.